Well, hello, everyone. We are so glad you're with us. And today we have Nick Krem and Danielle Nuno. We're going to talk about how to save time, how to get more leads, how to do virtual staging, and how to stay accountable. So welcome, Nick and Danielle. We're so glad that you're with us today.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I'm really excited. We're gonna go three people on this one, so I'm really excited for everybody that's on here. I'm excited to hear what Danielle has to share as well, and for just to be here with you.
Awesome. Welcome, Danielle.
Thank you so much.
So today I want to first start with how you guys are using tools to save time. I feel like people are saying to us, like, literally, I feel like I don't know where the day is gone. Like, I'm working, but I'm not getting as much accomplished. So give us some tools. We'll start with you, Nick, that you're using to really help save time.
Yeah, and I think it really comes down to, like, guys, there are so many AI tools that are out there. And I'm sure, like, dude, I've seen more ads, more tools that pop up every single day. Like, this one's going to change your life. This one's going to change your life. This one's going to change your life. I think it first starts taking a look at taking inventory on where do you spend most of your day, right? Like, where do you personally spend most of your day? And then searching for some AI tools that can coincide with what you're doing. I know one of the ones for me that we figured out, this one was a little bit ago, but it's helped me out immensely. It was Merlin.ai. Merlin.ai, what it does is it reads a web page. So just for example, like emails. I don't know about you guys, but I get a lot of emails that you need to reply to, that you need to stay on top of. So what this tool can do is it integrates right into your web browser, and you just click it when you open up an email, and then you say, write me a response that's engaged and excited and response to everything they said. And it'll write to it a complete email, and you could send it off in seconds. So for me, like, you can use it for Facebook, going into Facebook and doing more comments. Guys, if you have an admin and you want to stay on top of people's pages, or you personally want to comment faster, it can read the post that you're on, write you an engaging comment or something along those lines. You can have custom prompts, and it writes things for you. And it works on every web page, as like Google Chrome. It's an extension. You just plug it right in, and then anytime you want to write a response, bring it up, and then you say, write me a response to this. And it inserts it in there for you. So for me, at the end of the day, beginning of the day, whenever you check your email, you can check it with speed, get responses out like crazy. And sometimes, like, at the end of the day, I'm not too creative. I know sometimes before I had this tool, I read that email, I'm like, I know I should say more, but I really don't want to. I'm just going to set it out like 2 lines in an email that should have at least 20, like 15 or something along those lines. So for me, Merlin.ai was a tool that I believe everybody can utilize, because every agent has emails, every agent's on social media, needs to respond to things, and it's great. Even if it's like leads that come in, if you need to respond to leads that are coming in, it can read what the person just said, give you a response in seconds, and be able to send out. I think it's great for just kind of getting over that creative barrier sometimes to figure out what to do or what to say.
That's funny. For me, I know people, if I use something like that, people would literally say to me, you did not write that, because I barely ever write, and I have my degree in math. So I'm not great at writing English. So everything with me is like shorthand and quick. So if I actually wrote in like a real nice, complete sentence, people will be like, you did not write that. Danielle, what about you? Give us some tips that you have right now that are really saving your agents time.
Yeah. So similarly to that app or to that tool, it's when you write something, make sure you're writing it once. So save those templates, save those email responses, and make sure if you've got a CRM where you can use text templates, email templates, that you've got those, so you're not spending the time rewriting it every time. And we've, of course, used ChatGPT to kind of like polish a lot of our templates recently. And same thing, like you just said, is it kind of just puts a more polished spin on things so that you're not spending the time making it sound perfect. So saving those every time is really key. And then the other thing that's saving time for our agents is knowing who you're going to be reaching out to ahead of time. And of course, we're using our CRM, and we've categorized it into smart lists so that we're spending our first time block of the day calling the people that are most likely to be ready to buy or sell. So just making sure that we're using our tech to identify who's going to be ready first, because we all know it's taking more contacts to generate the same amount of business right now that it has in the past. So why not spend the most important time of the day, which for us is that first time block, calling people that are most likely to move.
So explain that a little bit further. How is it knowing that these certain leads are more likely to move?
Yeah, so we have our CRM set up based on stages. So the stages are all indicative of their assumed timeline when we think they're going to be ready to buy or sell. And so we categorize our leads into stages, and then we're able to build out smart lists based on stage. So for example, somebody who's going to be ready to meet with us in the next 30 days is categorized for us as a hot lead. And our hot leads, we should be calling every 7 days. So we're able to set up within Follow-Up Boss, is what we use, a smart list that says, hey, if they're in this stage and they haven't been called or contacted in the last 7 days, they're due for a call. And we've just kind of built out like, all right, that's one of the top priorities. But another one is we're using AI within our database within certain lead types. And our database will help identify, okay, this is somebody who is likely ready to move. They're a hand raiser. They've engaged in certain activities within our website that are generally indicative of someone who's thinking about buying or selling. So those are actually the highest priority. And then we kind of go down the line from there.
Awesome. If you guys missed, Nick has actually done an episode before, and he gave some really great websites. And one of the websites that you gave on, Nick, before was opus.pro. And it literally, you could record something. Let's say you wanted to do a market update and do it on Zoom. And then you could go to opus.pro and you could actually, it could write the words for you, you know, all those things. It could create small clips for you. I think that website is good, but it's not great. Do you have any other websites for creating content where you can record on Zoom or record on your phone a longer version? And then these sites can get, because everything right now, if you read, everything is all about shorts. So YouTube now created YouTube shorts, you know, all the reels, you know, they say, you know, between 30 seconds and a minute. It's sad, but this is where our attention span has gone to, right? So what is the best platform for you to use to create these shorts that is the best, and kind of talk about the pros and cons?
So I'm going to put them all here. Yep, I spelled them right. I'm going to put all three of them here in the chat. And yes, there are pros and cons to each one. So what all of these allow you to do, to me, it's really take the videos that you've already shot and it chops it up and does done for you reels for you, right? And this is where, like I was telling Danielle before we started this too, is, man, we were on the verge of going out of business if we would have kept doing the things we were doing. Because we had an entire team that would chop up videos, put subtitles on it, put graphics on it, put emojis on it. And then they would go ahead and write a description for you. And now these AI tools can do it for you in seconds. So I'll go down the list. The first one is opus.pro. It's very limited to what you can do. But if you don't want to do any editing, if you just want it done for you, you want to get in, get out, and get your reels done, what Opus does, you insert, let's say, like a 40-minute video into it. In about 5 to 10 minutes, maybe even less, it chops the videos up into the most highly engaging points of your video, puts subtitles on it, puts emojis on it, writes a description for you, and then even gives you an engagement score. And it does that for you in minutes. So now you can take a 40-minute video that you've already shot, break it all down. The cons of this one is you don't really get to edit the video. You don't get to pick the pieces that it goes into place. You don't get to pick the emojis or anything that goes into it. So if you're looking for something that is just extremely simple, you don't want to do any editing, you just want to get in, get out, Opus is the place that you want to go. The next one I'm going to cover is video, VIDYO. So you can do a little bit more editing within this one. It's a very similar tool to Opus, where you just insert your video. Like, I love these tools for real estate agents, because I always tell real estate agents, if you have a video editing app on your phone or your computer, you're doing something wrong. Because either get out there and sell more real estate or hire somebody to do it for you. That's just my personal belief, okay? So going through this, these AI tools do everything for you. You literally just insert the video into video with the Y, video. And then you can edit it a little bit. So you can choose the pieces, you still get highly engaging emojis, and you just get a little bit more control over it. Now, if you want a lot of control, you want to really edit your videos, you want to get in there and create some videos from scratch, or take a video and chop it up, the last one is Kapwing. So Kapwing is more so, it's almost like, it's very hands-on. So it is still AI, it's very hands-on. So if you want to get in there and edit videos, you want to get in there and chop things up, you can do it pretty simple. It's not as simple as Opus. So they kind of go in order. Opus is extremely simple, but you don't get a lot of editing power. Video is pretty simple, but you can edit a little bit more. And then Kapwing is basically hands-on. It still uses AI, but you have to spend a little bit more time on there. So it just comes down to, what do you want your final result to be? If you want a highly edited reel, Kapwing would definitely be the only place that I go to. If you want to just upload videos, get in and get out, Opus would be the place I go to. But each one of these tools, all it's about is creating massive amounts of content. Because like we always say, where attention goes, money flows. The more attention that you can get on multiple platforms, the better you'll be. And the last thing I would recommend with any of these tools, don't start by creating new videos. Take all the videos that you shot in the past and start inserting them into here. I always said your videos that you shot are an asset if you use them correctly. Take the videos you've shot in the past, the best listing video you've ever shot with the coolest house, put it into one of these and just repurpose it. Give more attention and start using the videos that you already have.
So good. That is really wise advice. Danielle, talk about some of the different types of videos that you do use for you to be able to get new leads, to stay in front of people that you could use some of these platforms for.
Yeah. So with our new leads, when we're talking about generating leads, a lot of that in terms of video is being done through getting referrals from the people who are currently following us. So it's getting your face in front of the video, super simple, but that is something that we tend to avoid as agents. It's like, okay, I'll go film this house tour, fine. I'll finally do a reel. And yet what we really need to be putting on camera is us talking. Our consumers want to know what we sound like, how we operate, and kind of who we are. And the best way to showcase that, in my opinion, is video. So just reminding our current sphere, our current past clients that we're in business, kind of doing the education. And that's how we're getting a lot of our client referrals right now. We're also using, on another level, video to engage with our online leads, with our open house leads, with some of the leads that we're generating in other ways, to either re-engage them or to just solidify that relationship once we have generated them.
So we just did a call with a guy who is like a network marketing genius. And he said that the number one thing that seems to get the results that he wants is he actually finds the people on Facebook and he then does an audio message with them. So that, and he personalizes it. So he'll just write something that says like, hey, Susie, this is, Chantel, I just wanted to give you a quick audio, and it's got to sound super personal. Can you just give me a quick call? I figured I'd just give you an audio message, like super sweet and all of that. So do you have any other things like that? Are you having them maybe do video message, send a personalized video message? What's working for you, Danielle?
Yeah. So in the moment, video messages are big. Like, for example, after our open houses, literally as you're grabbing the open house signs, or as like while you're at the house, they can tell you're still in the neighborhood. Hey, Susie, was so great to meet you today. Really appreciate you coming through my open house. And then you're following up on something, you're personalizing it to them. Look forward to sending over that other listing that I have coming up, or whatever it may be. But the in the moment video works really well. When they know that you're in the office, or they know that you're at the open house, and it's very relatable. That's been super successful for us.
Yeah, Danielle, I love how you said that too. It's like, I feel like video messages, we covered this topic a lot too. It's the biggest thing you have to do is say their name. Say their name in the video message so they know it's just for them. And like you said, whatever you're following up on, after you say their name, you make them feel special, and not doing it with like the studio lights on you. You're saying they're like, hey, Danielle, I'm just saying, like, no, do it like in the moment, like picking up signs, going into open house. I feel like it means more, and you start to form that connection. So yeah, dude, you nailed it. I love that.
Let's talk a little bit about following up with leads. Nick, is there anything that you have for AI that is helping with lead follow-up or accountability or anything to help with that process? Because I think what happens is, right now, people have so many leads to follow up with. They don't know where to start, who to go with, and it's just too overwhelming. and so they're not doing it. Is there any AI tools that you know of that help with lead follow-up?
Yeah, so I think, it's the one that everybody talks about, ChatGPT, but it's even more so about how you use it, right? Like, it's not just going in there, because so what I used to do is I used to be an ISA, and I would call 15 hours a day across the US, like 8 a.m. in the East Coast to 8 p.m. on the West Coast. So I've been in the back of every CRM, like you name a CRM, I was in the back end of it. Don't just use those campaigns that they give you. They're very generic and doesn't really speak to your audience. So ChatGPT, it depends on where you get your lead source from. So the first thing you want to do is identify what kind of lead will be coming into it, and then go like goals, fears, motivations, what will happen if they hit their goal, what will happen if they don't hit their goal, and create an ideal client profile within ChatGPT. And then you want to go in there and then ask it, create me a 20 email sequence that gets them to go to XYZ. The key word in ChatGPT to me is sequence. You want it to write a sequence, write me a 20 email sequence for right when a lead populates from my website. So first, you create your ideal client profile within ChatGPT. You want to tell it exactly what kind of lead is coming in, because you don't want to just be buyers or sellers. It's too generic. A basic rule of marketing is people are sold on emotion and justified with logic. So you can create massive sequences, text sequence, email sequence, script follow-up after you create your ideal client profile. And then you just upload into your CRM. And what I tell people is people have 3 options when it comes to email campaigns. 1, they love it. I'm going to email you so much and get in front of you so much that you're going to love it. 2, they're going to unsubscribe. Great. You don't want to work with us. You don't want to stay in front of us. Or 3, and this is the one I refuse, they don't even know who we are. And that's unfortunately what a lot of people run into, is they don't email enough. They don't stay in front of people enough where they just don't even know you exist. So I think it's a lot of times with email campaigns, I know some managers like, you don't want to inundate people. No, I am going to inundate you. I'm going to get my message in front of you so much, you're either going to work with me or unsubscribe. And guess what? If you unsubscribe, at least you know who I am. So for me, it's you can use ChatGPT to write very specific email, text, and phone script campaigns that you can implement into your CRM to get in front of them enough and have the right message. So that's the way
I think that. Don't you think that if you take what they give you as a platform and then tweak it to make it sound more like you? Because I think my only concern about everything in ChatGPT is that, like, if it sounds like ChatGPT wrote it, what we have found is the more personal you can get, that's when you get a response. If you sound too professional and it sounds like ChatGPT sent it, then do you see a response?
So what I would say is first, what you have to do is you have to create your ideal client profile before you even ask it to write a campaign. Like, so what we do is like, we ask it like, so let's say it's a first-time home buyer campaign looking for their forever home or whatever that is. Millennial, first-time home buyer. You want to be very specific with who you're talking to.
Okay, so you're right. Always do millennial.
Well, if that's who you believe your leads are going to be. So it's first identifying your target audience. So it's what we do is, what are the goals of a millennial first-time home buyer looking for their forever home? What are the goals? What are the fears? What are the motivations? What's the internal dialogue? And we train it what that person is going through on an emotional status. So we get really in depth into the psychology of what that person will be thinking or feeling. And then we go back and ask it to write campaigns based on the emotions that are involved in it. If you just ask it, write me a lead generation campaign for buyers. Yeah, it's going to sound very basic. It's going to sound like a robot wrote it. But if you train your ChatGPT to speak to the emotions first, and then go back in and say, now write me an email campaign focused on the fears and the internal dialogue. Now write me this, and it's all about campaigns and sequences, then it stops sounding like a robot. And it can say, sound informal, be a little more informal, or use humor. So there are ways around it. And the reality is, most leads that come in have no idea what I sound like anyways. Like, they're leads that come in, and I set the standard by how much I stay in front of them.
So one of the things I always say is that you're unemployed until your next sale. So when you're in real estate, you earn the money, you get paid, and then you're actually unemployed again, right? That's how real estate works. So we want to teach everybody how to conduct themselves as a business and not just be real estate agents, because business owners, being a business owner, will help you retire. And so I want you to look at something that is the next level, which is Robert Kiyosaki's cash flow quadrant. And so what he says is that the next level of a business owner is like, okay, ask yourself, am I on this side or am I on this side? Am I just self-employed or am I a business owner? Or do I take it to the next level and have passive income? And that's really what is great, is because we teach you, number one, how to operate on this side where you're a business owner and also are creating passive income. And what I say is, does your system, does your business work independently from you? Like, have you ever been to a real estate agent retirement party? Like, I never have, right? Like, I've seen people, that have been in real estate for a really long time. It ages you. But I know one thing, I don't want to be showing homes on Saturdays and Sundays, getting calls at night. And I don't want to, when I'm 65 years old, doing that. And so that's what we're trying to solve, is saying, why don't agents retire? Well, there's all kinds of reasons. There's no retirement contribution matched by their employer. Healthcare prices are going up. Prices in general are just insane right now. And even if you have a rental property that maybe makes $3,000 a month, you're spending $2,000 on expenses, and then you just aren't making enough passive income. So what we want to teach you how to do, we call it now and later. Like, the candy, now and later. Well, we want to have you have money now, and your now money is helping buyers and sellers buy their home and sell their home. Yes, let's do a little bit of that, but we're going to help you create that later money, which is where we can retire, or at least have some kind of retirement money addition to what we're already making. And so that is the real basis of our brokerage. You can build your own brand, you can be successful, and we give you all the tools and support to fast track your business to success. I love it. So I want you to respond to that, Danielle, of how you're getting some of your leads. Because one of the things that I think I'm constantly hammering is that the leads that are 5 to 7 months old are such great leads. And everyone constantly wants the brand new lead, the brand new lead, the brand new lead. And they just keep buying more leads instead of following up with all the leads that they already have and basically dumping money out. So what systems are you putting in place to get people, one, to change their mindset, to get in their mind that the leads that are 5 to 7 months old are sometimes better than those brand new leads, and what they need to do to convert them?
Yeah. So this is a topic I'm super passionate about, because when you're buying leads, that's the average time frame. It's like 4 to 6 months plus, right? If you're buying a bunch of leads that are ready today, you're spending, number one, you're spending a ton of money. But number two, you're probably talking to a lot of people who are saying they're ready today, but they're actually ready in 4 to 6 months, because we know that that's the life cycle of an online lead. And so we've set up a ton of systems within our team. The first thing that's the most important, though, is just setting the expectation. So if you're running a team, or if you're just buying your own leads, just setting the expectation for yourself of, when are these leads most likely to convert? And you can be hopeful. I always tell our agents, like, go into that first call assuming that they're ready to set an appointment today, right? Because we should all have that positive attitude when we go into setting an appointment call or just making that intro call. You don't want to assume they're far out, and then you end up guiding the conversation and losing the opportunity to meet with that person. But go in, have the expectation that, okay, maybe they're ready today, but most likely they're going to be ready in however many months, depending on where you're getting that lead. And I could break down the full funnel. I don't have it with me today, but actually Jeff Glover puts on a really good training about when should you expect leads to convert based on exactly which online source are they from. And that's been really helpful. So teaching that expectation with our team has been huge. And then from there, we're creating a lot of built-in accountability that, you can create within a team, but you can also just create within a group of agents, to where you're almost forced to call these people, because the number one reason why agents don't make calls, why we avoid them, is we don't know who to call. Number two is we don't know what to say. We're not going to learn what to say overnight. We've got a lot of tools and scripts and AI that can help with that. And ultimately, by setting up something like an all-day call day, like we do once a month, we do the first Tuesday of every month, where all of our agents are in the office, all of our ISAs are in the office, and we're just making a whole bunch of phone calls. It forces you to prep. Who are you going to call? And that's, to me, the biggest key with that whole day every month, is it makes you take time, whether you're using your AI, your tech, or you're just sitting in front of your computer figuring out who to call. You take the time to decide on that, and then you've got a full day of calls. So I would definitely encourage everybody to set something aside with a group of accountability partners where they're doing that regularly.
Let's talk about some of those scripts. I'd love for you to share. Let's pretend like it's a buyer script that came in. And by the way, the last study that I saw was they were saying on average it was 8 months and 8 days from the time that that lead comes in to the time that it's going to close. You're looking at about 8 months and 8 days. So that means that those leads that are around that 5 to 6 month mark are prime leads that you should be contacting. But I'd love for you to do a little bit of role play with Nick. And Nick, don't be easy on her. Okay. But let's pretend that Nick was going to be a buyer lead that you had gotten, and you were doing a kind of a cold follow-up. He hasn't responded, but he finally answers the phone. Let's do a quick call of a script that you would use. Go ahead, Danielle.
All right. I'd have my script in front of me if I were doing this, right? But hey, good morning, Nick. It's Danielle over at the Awaka Group. I was just giving you a quick call. Wanted to thank you so much for registering on my website. And I was just curious, are you looking to make a move, or are you just checking out homes for fun online?
We're just kind of checking out homes for fun right now.
Awesome. Okay, great. I love keeping up with the market in my free time as well. I'm curious, if you were to make a move, when do you think that might be?
I mean, we were looking at some of the places on the website. Can you see the homes we were looking at?
It looks like you're looking in the Denver metro. Is that right?
Yeah. We're looking more so downtown.
Downtown. Awesome. What's important to you about the downtown area?
It's we're just really looking right now. So we're just kind of checking out some places downtown and like the metro area. Yeah,
absolutely. I know a lot of people who check out my website are just really exploring and just getting an idea of the top areas that they want to be in. What's most important to you about the area that you choose?
I would say it's really about location of where I'm working.
Okay, awesome. Where do you work?
At the Denver company.
Great spot. You want me to keep going?
No, I think that's good. I think that's good.
Dude, I love you weren't going to let me get away from that question. I love it.
It was really good. It was really good. So Nick, tell us some things that you would suggest people to do if they wanted to get some really good phone scripts or some accountability that's in place for AI.
I mean, like any type of scripting or anything that you could do, I think it really just comes down to ChatGPT, just going in there, and you just, the biggest thing that you guys want to do before you do anything, before you create content, before you write emails, before you create scripts, before you create voicemail campaigns, is clearly identifying who you want it to be for, right? Like, I think that's the biggest mistake I've seen people make. Write me a buyer script. What kind of buyer are they? What kind of lead are they? Are they a follow-up? Are they a fresh lead? What kind of, like, where are they coming from? So it's really identifying who you are speaking to first. And we have 13 different prompts that we go into: goals, fears, motivations, internal dialogue. What will happen if they do hit their goal? What will happen if they don't hit their goal? And then you go through that process and really identify who you're speaking to first. And then you can ask it to write as many scripts as you want. Then you can ask it to write me a 5 sequence scripts over a 30-day period, and then it'll write it out for you. Right. And then you can really time things out to be able to get it to write it. As far as accountability, I would say that's more so human based. I believe that accountability is more so human based. Or if you want to put things into CRM that have notifications for when to do things, that's what I would say the best things for accountability are. But as far as scripting goes, as far as scripting any email campaigns, it all starts with who you are speaking to, identifying your target audience. You go to any marketing class, the first thing they say is, who is your ideal client profile? Who are you speaking to? The first thing that you want to do before you ask it to do anything at all. We always say if you ask ChatGPT a dumbass question, you get a dumbass answer. Just because it does it fast doesn't mean it's going to do it good. So to me, it always starts with who am I speaking to, and then going in depth to get into what are their emotions in the process, and then write me a script. That's what I would do. Well, that's what we do.
So tell us, besides ChatGPT, what are your 5 favorite AI tools that you just kind of, I can't live without these?
So I would say that myself and my team can't live without. Number one, now I can't live without Merlin. Ever since I started using Merlin to write all my email responses, to write like on social media responses, to write, it works out of any website. So anytime you want to give a response to different leads, to different emails, Merlin is one of the tools I cannot live without. Another big one for us is Microsoft Designer. So it's designer.microsoft.com. So what that tool does, it creates one-click images. I'm sure a lot of people here have heard of Midjourney. I know Canva has their own AI as well. But for us, you have to be like a prompt engineer to get the pictures that you want from those ones. And I don't have the time. It's not simple enough. Designer.microsoft.com. It is literally one-click images. So it's like, give me an image for this. And it gives you 12 different options. And then just like Canva, you have your brand design. So it'll be all in your text, all in your format. You can put your logo on it. You can add your picture to it and then just say, hey, make it look futuristic. And it does it for you in one click. It's super simple to use. And I believe that's one of my favorite tools. Also 11 Labs. So 11 Labs, what it does is it recreates my voice. I don't know. Can I share my screen here?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right. So this video right here. So we're starting to, let's see. We could do this one. Let's play this. So this was made on Kapling.
Our AI certified agents have a formidable edge, enabling them to drastically outperform their peers. With the AI listing advantage, our agents are not just online, but are making a significant impact on social media.
That's my voice, but it's not me speaking. That was 11 Labs, like recreated. So now we're able to recreate myself over multiple different like platforms, voiceovers, and different things that we're doing. That one's like 11 Labs. I think that's how you spell it. I'm sure if you look it up, 11 Labs Inspiration, it is gangster because it can recreate your voice. There you go. That's the one. They can recreate your voice. We're using it for voiceovers. Guys, imagine having a podcast without ever even saying a word. You can go into ChatGPT and say, write me a complete podcast script, insert it into 11 Labs. And my even favorite part about this is you can use your voice in a bunch of different languages. So now if you're in a bilingual marketplace, we're doing it like ever. I was just having fun the one day at just creating so many different voices, especially since we have online courses. We can create a course and then market it to all these different locations in different languages. So I think that's another one of my favorite ones. And then, Kapling, Opus Video, one of those ones I really like. There's one more I'm trying to think of. Let me open up my slides. Oh, we do like Synthesia a lot. So Synthesia, what it does, it creates a virtual avatar for you. You can have an avatar assistant that reads off videos for you. You can have like your listing pictures going in the background and then your avatar read off like your listing description, just have it on a carousel and be able to do things for you. And pretty soon, that's one of the leading places that I think is going to make a great personal avatar. Right now, all the places you can see like the mouth move like up, like it doesn't look good when you have a personal avatar. But that's one of the leading places that we're looking at that creates like the avatars that they have are really good. And I think they're going to be the first one to crack it to go to the public as far as like the really good personal avatar as well. So that's one of the ones that we're keeping our eye on.
Wow, that is amazing. And then what about you, Danielle? Anything that you can think of for your kind of top 5 favorite tools that you're using to save time and kind of help agents to kind of be as productive as possible?
Yeah, so I'm not quite as advanced with the AI, so I'm taking a bunch of notes here too. But when it comes to just tech tools, so our CRM, just like truly leaning into your CRM has been a huge game changer for us. And having as many of the other tools that we use, like for our, we use Open to Close for our TC program that syndicates with our CRM. So we're able to use that. We're using Sisu for numbers reporting, and that syndicates with our CRM. So kind of pulling everything into one has actually been a big project this year. And just keeping our agents in one main app is huge because we all have a million apps as real estate agents. And so the more that we can condense that, the better. And then with the only other thing I'd say about ChatGPT, Nick, you're like the expert over here. But for somebody who's maybe not quite as advanced or working on getting to your level, also just taking an email campaign that you already have, or like an email template that maybe you saw from another agent that you like the gist of it, but it doesn't sound like you, just plugging in specific email templates or text templates to ChatGPT and asking them to rewrite it has been helpful for us too.
Oh, that is great advice. That's great advice. Well, we are out of time. You guys brought such great information today. Nick, we'll start with you. Tell listeners where they can find you, where they can follow you, and how they can get AI certified with you.
Yeah. So, no, thank you so much for having me on. It's been a blast. I always love coming on here with you. You can find me, everything is just under Nick Krem. You can find me everything under Nick Krem. And then we created the world's first AI certified agent. You get to get the entire training, everything that we do for real estate agents. It's all around being a real estate agent. It's the exact processes, systems, prompts, how to train your ChatGPT and multiple other AI tools. So you never have, that's my favorite part about AI is you do have to individually train it to do the things you want it to do. But once you train it, you never have to retrain it. It's not like that person you hire where 2 weeks later you go back and like, what are you doing? This isn't what I trained you to do. With ChatGPT and these other places, once you train it once, you never have to retrain it again. So we go through helping you train your different AI tools so you can damn near run your entire marketing division for less than $200 a month and outmarket the biggest teams in the area after taking our certification. So yeah, we created the world's first AI certified agents. We help certified agents create a differentiating factor and train you how to run your entire marketing division for less than $200 a month using that link below.
I love it. And Danielle, I want everyone to write in the chat because I think one of the nuggets that I always like when I hear something that someone says, I like to repeat it because if you don't, you forget it. And it was so good of what you were talking about with the, if you write an email once, if you ever have to write an email like that again, you should be saving that email either in your notes on your phone, a Word doc. So I thought that was just so genius. I wanted to repeat that again. Do you put it in your notes on your phone or a Word doc, or what do you use for that?
I use Google Tasks. If you're in Gmail, there's the little, I think it's called Tasks, right? Where you can actually create lists and then I'll just add it to that list. And so I've got an email template task list on the right-hand side of my Gmail. So it's just right there, easy to copy and paste.
I love it. Well, Danielle, tell listeners where they can find you and where they can follow you.
Yeah, absolutely. So Danielle Nuno, Nuno, on Instagram, Facebook, wherever you're at online. And would love to answer any questions you ever may have about the Denver, Colorado real estate market.
Awesome. Well, that wraps it up for today. You guys stay tuned and we've got another episode coming up in just a few.
Thank you for listening. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe, leave a rating and a review so we can get this out to more agents. And tune in next week for another power-packed episode. This is the Millionaire Real Estate Podcast.